Morning, it's Fran's Crafts. Today I'm going to make another clock for you. Just going to use this Swallowtail Butterfly stamp again, which I highlighted all last week, just because it looks good on a clock. I'm going to try a different technique today. On Tuesday I went to a card class run by my good friend Ruth, who's also my upline for Stampin' Up, and we experimented with watercolour techniques. So I'm going to use this card that I made. This is the inspiration for the clock I'm going to show you. Hopefully it works out okay, and so we'll see how it goes. Just put that to one side. I may pause on the video every so often, just because I've got to heat emboss the butterfly, and I'm sure you don't really want to hear the heat gun going, so I might pause then, and also there may be a pause just while I let the ink on the butterfly dry. But we'll get started for now. So as I say, I'm going to use a Swallowtail Butterfly, and I've got from the Subtles, I've got the Blushing Bride and Wisteria Wonder. I'm going to use my spritzer and some black embossing powder. So just put these all to one side, ready. As with last time when I showed you a clock, I'm going to draw around the outside and the little hole in the centre, and leave it to cut out afterwards. Okay, and then I've just got my anti-static bag, which I'm going to give a quick rub over, just so the embossing powder doesn't stick anywhere I don't want it to. So I'm going to take my stamp, and I'm using the Versamark watermark stamp pad. Just going to cover my butterfly. Then I want to get it roughly in the centre. And press down. There we go. And then I'm just going to cover it with black embossing powder. Let's give it a little, make sure everywhere's covered. So then you have that. So I'm just going to pause while I heat it up. Okay, so I'm back after doing that. So what I'm just going to quickly do, I know last time I waited till the end to cut the centre hole out. I'm just going to do it now on this one, because otherwise I'm going to not be able to see it quite so well once I start putting ink on. So I just want to make sure that I know where it is. And again, I've put my knife on the paper, and I'm moving the paper around because it stops the paper from, the card from ripping. There we go. I've stamped onto Whisper White for this. Right, so to create this effect, what we did was we used the Stampin' Up marker pens, and we drew on, or squiggled should I say, on the clear block using two colours. I think I think I used Wisteria Wonder and Blushing Bride for this yesterday, on Tuesday as well, so I was going to stay with those colours. Then when we got enough covered, we spritzed it with the spritzer, so it all became sort of all runny, and then it was just a case of putting the block down and waiting for it all to come off the block. So I'm just doing it a little slightly different because I haven't got any marker pens at the moment. So what I was going to do is I've taken clear block, just move that to one side of it so you can see what I'm doing. Clear block, and I'm just getting sponges, and I'm just sponging it onto the block, so it gives it a slightly different effect to what we did in class. So just go in with the Blushing Bride, like so. Okay, and then I'm just going to spritzer, give it a bit of a spray, and then I'm going to come into my image and I'm going to pop it down on top. When you put this on, if you need to hold the block down for a short while, and you can see it all moving around, and once it's all stopped moving, then you can take it off. So I'm just going to pop over the top like so, and you probably can't see that on the video, but the ink, as it soaks to the paper, it all moves around, and once it's stopped, all the little white bits have stopped moving, you know then that it's ready to take off, and you get that sort of effect on your paper. So I'm just going to do a little bit more around the clock. I love being able to experiment with different techniques. That's why it's good to go to class, because you always pick up something a little different, or you can do it there and adapt it. My brain was buzzing with ideas once I'd done this this one, the card yesterday, although I had done it before in a class a long time ago with Ruth, but it was good to be reminded. Okay, just get a bit of a spray. I'm just going to come into the bottom half of the clock, I think, and press down. Now there, you can see it on that one. As you can see, it's all sort of moving, and the white going as it soaks in. That's done. Well, that sort of creates that bit of a different effect again. So I'm just going to finish off around the edges. You could do this without spritzing it if you wanted to, just put the sponge onto the block, but it doesn't quite give the same watery effect as it does as when you spray it. So I'm just going to move this round. I'm going to go there, like so. And pull it off. And then just work my way around the clock. So I'm going to pause now while I finish off, and then I've got to let it dry a little bit, so I shall be back shortly. Okay, I'm back and it's dry now. What I did was I weighted the card down with the clock base, and then just kept it flat so it wasn't all wrinkling up while it was drying. Forgot to mention at the start, I'm using an 8-inch clock base for this. The butterfly still fits on nicely in the centre of the clock, and it's good if somebody wants a bit of a smaller clock. Okay, so that's pretty much dry. What I've decided to do as well now is I've taken the flower shop stamps, and I'm just going to go over the marks a little bit, watermarks a bit, and I'm going to just stamp some flowers. So just decide, I think I'll go for this one, I quite like that one. So I've taken the mask again that I used last week on my butterfly, just so I can not get the flower stamped on it, and I'm just going to do this in Wisteria Wonder. So I just ink up my stamp, and I'm just going to stamp around the butterfly slightly. And you get the colour, different colours coming through then in the flower as well, from when we did the watermark. So just going to leave it like that, I think. Don't want to do too much on it. So then I just need to glue it down onto the base and then leave that to dry. So taking my glue, I'm going to use the larger end of this rather than the fine nozzle, and then I'm just going to go around the clock. It's quite good, this. It's got like a spread bit, so you can sort of squeeze the glue out and then spread it around. It means you can get right to the edge of the clock on this. So just spread it about. Like so. Got it in the centre hole. Just remembering to go round the centre hole, not in the centre hole. And then just pop a little around the clock. There we go. And then just need to line up the clock. And just also just before I stick it down, that glue's okay for a minute. I'm just going to take the Wisteria Wonder, and I'm just going to ink around the edges of the clock. Let's give it a bit of an extra colour. This is a bit of a different pattern or a way of doing my clocks for me, but I thought just wanted to give it a go to see what it was going to look like. So something a little bit different. There we go. Right. And I'm just going to pop that down, and then lining up the middle, and just press down. So kind of pause again while that's just drying, and then I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, we're back, and it's dry. So now I just need to place the numbers, which I have got cut out from black card using my template. A lot of people have asked me where I had this template from. It came with a kit that I had from quite a while ago. This is quite thick sort of plastic, but I have created one for somebody else who asked me about it, and I just used some, I think I used some coaster board and I just cut round the edge and marked the numbers, and then I cut them, just punched the holes out for them, and it works the same way. Also, you could draw around a saucer or a small plate in a circle, and then as long as you get your main 12, 3, 6 and 9 marks in the right place, you just can then space out the others so they're all even. So I'll start putting the numbers on. Okay, I've just been sticking some of the numbers down. I paused the video because it takes a while to get them all down. So I'm just finishing off. When you've got the double numbers, I try and keep so it shows the whole sort of in between the two, rather than putting it on one particular number. Also, especially if you're working with a smaller clock like this, you might need to move your template around a little bit to get the numbers, but as long as you keep it, it's like I need to do the number 8, so as long as you keep it sort of in the same place, especially in the middle, you can get the, oops, let's get that right there, you can get the, you just need to move it over slightly and then you can fit your numbers in quite easily. Put that back, just finish off the last few. Oops. If I get too much glue on the back, I just wipe it, just dot it on my hand off the numbers, and then you're not getting glue coming all out on the clock. This is why I have constantly sticky hands, I think, because I'm always wiping off the glue. I'm either very glue or, like today, glue and ink. That's the fun of crafting, you just make a mess. So just finish off number 11. We just got number 10 to go. And then we're about done. So I think, as I said last time, you don't have to do this, but it does help protect your clock a little bit. I use a spray varnish just over the top. Protects the paper a bit from moisture, etc. Makes it last a lot longer. Plus it gives it a little bit of a shine to it as well. So usually before I put the mechanism on, I will give it a bit of a spray. And it's better than using varnish that you pop on with a brush, because I find, and I've tried it in the past, that the especially if you've got, like maybe like this wet ink, or you've been using marker pens, it will spread the colour where you don't want it to be, and then it makes it look a bit messy. So there we go, that's the clock finished. I don't know, you pick up all the colours on there. There's a bit of the Blushing Bride. So then all you do when you get your mechanism, I think as I showed you last time, but I'll do it again, is you pop the rubber washer in there and then just pop the clock in, and then you get the metal washer and the nut and screw the nut on. You need the nut fairly tight, but not too tight that it's going to restrict your spindle moving around. So I've done that on the back, and then I just need to turn the body of the mechanism round so that the handle, the hanging hook there, is level with number 12. You've got it the right way up. And then our hands come with a bit of a plastic coating on, so I'm just going to peel that off and then pop it on. Again, just press around that area there and not there, because you'll bend your hands off the clock. Let's pop the large hand on it. Got some glue on that, I'll wipe that off after. And then we just pop that one on there, and then you just take your second hand and pop it into the little on the top, and there we go. You just pop a battery in the back and good to go. So I hope you've enjoyed the clock today and a different technique. I've certainly had fun making this. It's something a little bit different. So I shall see you again soon. Bye bye.